Antarctica is the most relentless, desolate, and least explored continent on the planet. This frozen desert has been home to countless myths, legends, and mysteries throughout history, and many of those who attempted to explore it have lost their lives in the process. The existence of Antarctica is no longer a secret as it once was. It lies beneath the planet, waiting for those who wish to discover it. However, you are not allowed to explore it. In fact, you are not even allowed to casually stroll there. But why? Why do countries try to keep this glacier-covered continent hidden, like a secret treasure? Is there something hidden beneath all of this that only a select few want to remain undiscovered? Today, we embark on a journey to the frozen south of our world and attempt to unravel the stories and truths behind Antarctica. By the end of this journey, many of the questions in your mind will be answered, while new ones will emerge, waiting to be solved. After thousands of years of myths, the idea of the mysterious lost lands of the South was finally proven in 1820 by the Russian Empire's navy, and Antarctica was officially discovered by humans. From this point onward, countries began to line up to explore this region, which possesses the harshest climatic conditions on Earth. The first comprehensive exploration took place between 1928 and 1930 under Admiral Byrd, who established a research and military base called Little America in the Ross Ice Shelf region. In the following years, several more exploration missions were carried out, but the explorers weren't just Americans. The Nazis also conducted expeditions to the region in 1938 and 1939. While many stories claim the Nazis were searching for Atlantis, in reality, they were interested in the region's natural resources. Preparing for war, the Nazis needed large quantities of whale oil and various raw materials, which they planned to extract from this desolate continent. However, with the onset of World War II, this supply line was cut off before it could even begin. The mysterious part of the story rests on a singular fact. In the final years of the war, when the Nazis realized their defeat, some claim that various military technologies, and even Hitler himself, were secretly moved from Germany to military bases in Antarctica, and from there, they reportedly escaped to Argentina and Chile. While this is not a claim with conclusive proof, there are indeed serious sources suggesting that high-ranking German officers fled to South America, changed their identities, and lived there. So, we cannot completely dismiss this theory as a mere fabrication. Who knows, perhaps they did manage to hide some technologies. However, whether for these technologies, the Atlantis myth, or entirely unrelated reasons, shortly after the war, the United States sent a large fleet of 4,000 soldiers and scientists to Antarctica, marking the beginning of the most extensive experiments the region had ever seen. The official narrative presented to the media was that the fleet's purpose was to test cold weather technologies, study the region's climatic and geological structure, and conduct various scientific research. However, some believe the operation had a much more secretive dimension. It is said that advanced civilizations were encountered beneath the thick glaciers. According to reports, Admiral Byrd, while flying over the region, entered one of these vast underground openings, where he was supposedly met by an advanced civilization, communicated with them, and, after sharing information, was released. It is also said that hundreds of clashes occurred during this encounter. You can find all these details in the Hey Can't video. Of course, the claims of aliens and rumors about a civilization existing there did not emerge in one instance. Over the following decades, ice core analyses revealed that Antarctica was once a tropical continent covered with forests and a variety of life. It was even discovered that the continent may have been located in more temperate equatorial regions in the past. Geological studies also revealed that the shape of the land beneath the ice closely resembles a proportional map drawn nearly 500 years ago. It's not exactly the same, but it is quite similar. As these discoveries piled up, people literally became obsessed with Antarctica. The theories and claims they had long held were suddenly accepted without question. Dozens of books about the idea of an ancient civilization waiting for humanity to discover them were quickly published, and Antarctica became the world's greatest mystery. However, just as this Antarctica craze reached its peak globally, and as people eagerly sought to visit and uncover all its mysteries, the Antarctic Treaty was hastily signed in Washington in 1959, with the participation of 12 countries, and access to the continent was officially prohibited. People are suspicious, aren't they? The war is over, technology is advanced. Why is it prohibited to explore the region? Why can't planes fly over it? What is being hidden there? Especially now, with satellite technology, images of strange formations circulating the internet. In fact, it's important to approach the situation with a clear mind. Otherwise, you could get lost in paranoia and conspiracy theories. One of the primary reasons behind the international interest in Antarctica following America's research, was actually the country's attempt to seize the region's areas and incredibly rich resources. Let me give you a simple example. Russia's known oil reserves total 80 billion barrels, but it is believed that the oil in Antarctica's Ross Sea alone is about 50 billion barrels. And that's just one area. There are others. After World War II, during the period of industrialization, an assault on Antarctica could have triggered a new war between nations, not to mention the destruction of natural life. For this reason, the Antarctic Treaty was signed to ensure that countries could not exploit the continent's natural resources or conduct military operations there. The other clauses of the agreement state that the region will be used for scientific research with the approval of the member countries, and any data found will be shared among the member countries. In other words, that agreement is actually a very good one. Now, if the agreement had only been made by the United States and its allies, we might say, there's something fishy about this, but even countries that were enemies at the time signed it. In fact, the number of signatories has greatly increased since then. So, it seems more logical that the goal was not to hide a mystery but to prevent attacks on resources and avoid possible conflicts. So, what about Admiral Byrd's Operation High Jump, his alleged contact with aliens, and the supposed conflicts he had? Those who claim to have read these in the Admiral's diaries are actually people who wrote various books and made programs to make money during the Antarctica craze. Normally, such information is not found in the Admiral's diaries. The stories about underground civilizations and conflicts are completely fabricated by people who made big profits from selling books. In fact, the Admiral's family and friends have explained that the diaries these writers claim to have are actually non-existent. None of the writers have ever shown the diaries they claim to have seized. The reason for the flight restrictions in the region is due to the extreme weather conditions, the magnetic pole causing damage to electronic devices, making flights dangerous, and the lack of a runway in an emergency situation across the vast area. Remember, Antarctica is almost as large as North America. There is also a ban, often criticized, to prevent other countries from secretly flying over the continent and carrying out covert operations. Of course, that is why the data is not only controlled by the United States but also by the member countries. The claim that civilians are not allowed in Antarctica is not entirely accurate. For scientific research purposes, 56 countries that are part of the agreement can conduct research there with permission. If you, as a citizen, want to go, you can book an expensive Antarctic tour. In fact, you can even visit some coastal areas, but going toward the center is prohibited. Considering that in winter, temperatures can reach -80 degrees Celsius, and in summer they are around -20 degrees Celsius, you can understand why. It would be a certain death for anyone who tried to venture there. As for the mysterious formations seen in satellite photos, one of the most popular images you might come across is a supposed crashed spaceship that looks like it has sunk into the ground. However, in the unedited version of the image, it is clear that it is actually a rock that has rolled down the slope. And what about the pyramid shapes? This could indeed be interesting, but only if they were outside of Antarctica. Normally, sharp edges are hard to find in nature, as wind and water erosion soften them. However, ice erosion works like a razor blade and cuts even the hardest rocks into sharp edges. That is why you can find sharp-edged mountains in places that were once covered in ice. Also remember, what you're seeing are actually the peaks of the Password Mountains, which remain above the ice. There is a massive mountain beneath them. And what about the mysterious tunnel entrances? This is true. Yes, there are dozens of photoshopped fake images, but there are also real large cave entrances on the continent that open in the summer and close in the winter. However, calling these alien landing ramps, as you can imagine, would be wrong. There could also be natural erosion gaps. It would be premature to make a judgment without visiting. In short, almost everything you've heard about Antarctica, and let's leave a little room for the Mystery Channel, is 99% internet myths told by people who present no evidence, no historical records, and many of them are just lies, like the Admiral's Diary stories. In America, this is an industry, guys. People write books, appear on programs, and make serious money from it. I've shared similar stories from this channel many times, so when someone appears on a program and leans back in a chair and says, "There are aliens in Antarctica, the Nazis went there and met them, then America fought them, and then travel was banned because there's a giant wall," they are simply serving up a stew of fake information. The Nazis went because they needed to stock up on oil before the war. America went because it wanted access to those resources, and countries came together to ban this through an agreement because it would likely trigger a third world war. The belief in a massive landmass around the planet, held by ancient people 2,000 years ago, comes from a time when the world was not well understood. In short, all of the stories have answers, as long as you research. However, one thing still remains a mystery. Could there be traces of a civilization 3 to 5 kilometers beneath the ice? That's the only topic worth discussing. Just like the setup theory, could the continents have really shifted during the extraordinary deluge 12,000 years ago? Yes, it's an extreme claim, but it's intriguing. Could the island nation of Atlantis, which was said to exist at the time, have slid into the frozen southern pole region? Today, science says this cannot be true, as the continent has been covered in ice for millions of years, and the last time Antarctica was near the equator was 200 million years ago, when the continents were closer together. However, we don't know if there were people on the planet 200 million years ago. Maybe there was a civilization that eventually disappeared. Normally, after so long, there would be no trace of any civilization. Nature would have erased everything. But the continent has remained frozen for millions of years. So, perhaps some things have been preserved. We can only discover this if, one day, the ice melts and we can access that vast area. Otherwise, conducting research under 3 to 5 kilometers of ice in temperatures of minus 80 degrees Celsius would be an incredibly difficult challenge, especially in an area of 16.6 million square kilometers. These are the known facts about Antarctica. Even without aliens or Nazis involved, it's still an incredibly mysterious region, especially from a scientific perspective. It seems that as long as those glaciers remain, the continent will continue to guard its mysteries, and this will likely continue for a long time. But who knows, maybe one day, due to global warming, something beneath the ice will reveal itself. If something tangible is discovered, I will definitely make the first video about it. After all, the goal of this channel is to explore and discuss the unknown. Unfortunately, almost all of the information circulating around today is clickbait. Of course, I don't believe governments share everything with us honestly. But saying, there are aliens in a frozen desert, just because we don't trust the governments seems like a bit of a stretch to me. I haven't found a single conspiracy theory claim with a solid foundation. They are mostly claims based on one source and vague assertions, or easily debunked theories. Remember, the continent is monitored not only by the United States but by many countries. So, someone can't just do whatever they want there. Rival countries would immediately expose them. If you've done research on the continent and have some concrete information that I didn't cover today, please leave it in the comments, and let's discuss it. After all, we're talking about a mysterious frozen land that 98% of us have yet to discover. Two heads are better than one. Maybe we can catch something together. Thank you all for watching the video.